Hey guys, it's Casey with Our Country Designs, and I am going to be doing a little bit of experimenting with a new style of tumbler kind of look. Okay, so this is our 20-ounce skinny that will be available starting next Friday. So if you haven't signed up for our mailing list, be sure to do so on the link provided. I think it's above me. So what I'm going to do with this one's already been glittered and epoxied, so it's nice and shiny. It's really smooth, so it's got a couple coats of glitter or of epoxy on it already to make sure it's nice and smooth so you don't have the glitter chunks sticking through. And I've had this sitting around for quite some time now because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it quite yet, because it's beautiful as is. I could just add a decal, another layer of epoxy, and be done, but I wanted to try something a little bit different, and it's called peekaboo technique. And I'm gonna make a mermaid peekaboo with it. And I'm gonna see how far I can get to do this before my phone dies, okay? So I'm gonna show you kind of step by step what I'm doing up to a certain point, because then I have to spray paint, let it dry, that type of thing. So I'll let you in on what we're doing so far. So I'm gonna turn you down. So I'm gonna set our tumbler here. So here's my vinyl decal that I have printed off. And I just have to weed it. So this is kind of one of the steps that people often don't think about that we have to do. So we print out the decal, and then we have to weed it. And this one I'm not using as a stencil, I'm gonna be using as the actual decal, because I'm going to spray over it, and then I'll take these off after the spray paint and the alcohol inks dry, and then it'll leave me with a really pretty look with just the glitter kind of peekabooing through. I realized one of my scales got ripped off because I was just so excited here. Sometimes I can find them, sometimes I can't. If I can't, I already printed off 2 of these, so I'll just go grab that one, because this will bother me otherwise. You can't probably see it, but part of the scale ripped off. So I'll just go grab the other one before I spray paint. I'll apply it on there. So then I got these little pieces within the fins that I'm gonna pull out. Now the mermaid tail I'm going to put the transfer tape over, and the scales I'm not gonna put the transfer tape over. So transfer tape is what helps to like easily apply your stencil, whether it's to wood or the tumblers. So if you've ever done any of our wood sign workshops, this is kind of a similar method. So here I got my big roll of transfer tape, which I honestly don't use very much anymore because I've been doing so many tumblers and not so much signs. So I'm just gonna apply some on there and cut it off. Use my scraper to just get it down a little bit nicer. Let me know if you guys have any questions on kind of what's coming up for the tumbler sales, because I can answer them for you as I go along here. I make a lot of sound effects once you get to know me. I make rooming noises while I drive and all that good stuff. So when I move the camera around and you hear odd noises, that's just me making sound effects. All right, so this one I'm not gonna, because these ones I'm gonna apply piece by piece to the tumbler, okay? So what I'm gonna do first is, this is how I hold my tumblers in place, because it's really hard to apply them when they're rolling around, right? So this is literally that packaging that you get when you order something from Amazon or wherever else you might order, and it comes in big long strips inside your box. So I've been saving those, and look at it, it's absolutely perfect with holding my tumbler in place. So I'm gonna kind of look for a spot where I like the glitter the most for where I'm gonna put my tail, because I'm gonna put my tail down here at the bottom where it's kind of coming up out of the bottom. I'm gonna grab some tape quick. And you know, guys, this may turn out absolutely terrible And I'll be a little embarrassed, but we'll see. I've never done this technique before, but can't imagine I'm not even gonna say that because I'm gonna jinx myself. Okay, when you apply them to a round surface with these decals, you wanna have a lot of little kind of cuts in them. You don't want it to be really big decal because it's a curved surface, which can be really frustrating to apply decals to. So I just kind of put a couple little slits in a couple spots. And I'm going to use a piece of tape to hold it down where I want it to go. And then I'm going to kind of apply it half at a time. And this isn't going to stay, so just because it's black doesn't mean I'm going to have a big black mermaid tail on here. What's going to be left once I pull off the stencil is the glitter that's behind this will be the mermaid tail, and there will be a different design over the top of it. It's kind of hard to imagine if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you will see. And the suspense will be terrible because I doubt that I'll be able to finish this before we go camping this coming weekend. So the soonest I'll be able to finish it for everyone to see is probably early next week. So I apologize for that. Again, let me know if you guys have any questions about the upcoming sale for our tumblers. It's a perfect time to answer all the questions you may have while I sit here and awkwardly talk to myself otherwise. So I'm just scraping it down so it adheres really well. And then we're gonna take the transfer tape off. And it's gonna leave behind this black mermaid tail. But again, the black mermaid tail will come off in one of the final steps before we do our final coat of epoxy. All right, so there's the mermaid tail on. The black doesn't look horrible, but it's not the look I'm going for. Okay, so that you have to make sure it gets adhered really well, because otherwise when I spray paint over it, the spray paint's gonna leak underneath and you're not gonna get the clean lines. So next I'm gonna add my scales. So the scales are gonna be a little bit more challenging, and I'm gonna kind of do the scales in like random groups throughout the cup, just however I feel like they may be looking nicely. So it's gonna be pretty random. There's no method to my madness. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it, okay? And hope for the best. So I'm gonna take one scale at a time, and I'm gonna kind of apply them in little groups. And I have a bunch more scales printed off too, just in case I really mess up. I can come back and fix them up. I'm gonna wanna make sure I get them adhered really well so that that spray paint doesn't leak underneath again. And I'm gonna go back and pull off another one and just apply a couple of them in this area. Let's see, it's probably gonna be easiest. This is kind of similar if you guys have seen the mermaid cup that I've already done. It had the scales on it, but I did more of the reverse of it. So you can see that this is missing all of these loopy loops. That's how I did the last one, was I used the loopy loops rather than these big scale pieces. So there's different ways of doing it depending on what look you're going for. I have our heat press heating up in the corner, and I'm really, really excited because I've spent a week trying to get our sublimation printer to work, and I think I finally got it to work. So that's new products coming in the future. Maybe a couple of them before Christmas, we'll see. Ah. And I scream at myself too. Squeal, scream. Lots of weird noises that come from me. So So there's, again, no method to the madness here. I'm just kind of slapping them on in little bunches. This is my first bunch so far. All right, so we got the tail on, we got a little group of the scales. So I'm gonna move on and put another little group of scales on a different part. Now the amount of time that already went into getting it to this point is pretty significant. It's already got 2 for sure, if not 3 coats of epoxy on it. Each coat of epoxy takes 12 hours to spin and cure. And there's sanding in between each coat to make sure that none of the glitter pokes out, those types of things. So now I'm applying the decal, I'll spray paint, I'll let that dry, and then I'll add in the alcohol ink, and then I'll re-epoxy. So there's a lot of different pieces to this, and they take a very long time to make, but they are super fun and well worth it. And yes, that is probably where he gets weird noises. Yes, Levi does a lot of squealing and weird stuff too. That's very ironic that you bring that up because I've never thought about that. But yeah, that makes sense. He probably listens to me make vroom noises all the way to daycare, or squealing noises if I have to slam on my brakes because somebody stopped in front of me or pulled in front of me. So he learns a lot of that from me. Unless they're gross noises, and he learns those from his dad. All right, this one I think I put too close, so I'm just gonna take that off. I got enough here that it doesn't really matter. So if I place one incorrectly, I'll just go peel it off and grab another one. All right, so I got 2 little patches. I'm not gonna be able to put as many patches on this one as some of the other bigger tumblers we have, because this one's not very, the circumference of it is not very big because it's our 20-ounce skinny one. So I don't want to overdo it, but I feel like I need to put a little bit more somewhere. I think I'm going to do a 1 or 2 up here. And this technique can be done with not just Mermaid scales style too. We can do this in all kinds of different themes. Something really cool that I've never mentioned too, if you guys go on our website, like it's very, currently, because we haven't put any of our tumblers on, it's very, very, very focused on wood signs. But if you go through our DIY kit section, there are just tons of design ideas for you guys to look through that you could put on a tumbler, and it's broken down by categories as well. So if you are just wanting to find, like, say you want a pet tumbler because you love your dog or cat and you just want to have one of those, go to the pet section on the DIY kits on our website, and I'll be showing this in the next couple weeks here. Well, I guess not a couple weeks, we're a little over a week away on how to find all of that. But if you want some ideas, that's a good place to look. I have to figure out how to share my screen with you guys on my computer. Doing all this stuff takes somebody very tech savvy. Yeah, I don't like that one either. And if you guys have any special requests for ones that you want to see that you haven't seen, let me know as well. When did I start this whole adventure? Well, I started wood signs about 5 years ago. No, I don't like this one. I started doing wood signs. Well, actually, okay, so in 2013 we got married, and I DIY'd a lot of our wedding stuff to save some money and because it was a lot of fun. And that's when I fell in love with Pinterest, and that my husband would claim is where everything ended. So I did wood signs and different things for our wedding. Wedding was over, decided I wanted to keep doing it, opened our Etsy shop, sold signs, moved into doing sign parties for the last couple years. but the sign market has gotten really saturated. If you look online, everybody's selling signs. So I decided it was about time I try something different, and who doesn't love glitter? So that's how that led me here. So this is kind of a new adventure. We're also gonna be looking into, I got a heat press, and we're gonna be offering a lot of different things like shirts and wood plaques, slate plaques, yeah. So a lot of different things that we're gonna be offering in the future too. So expanding our horizons a little bit. All right, so I think this is pretty good. So we got our mermaid tail on, we got our scales in a couple different spots. So underneath this black will be what the glitter is when it's all said and done. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to wipe this down with alcohol, and then I'm going to spray it with a white spray paint. Okay, the reason I'm gonna wipe it down with alcohol is because I got my fingers all over it, and the spray paint may not adhere as well because of the oils on my fingers. So better safe than sorry, because it would be really sad if I put all this work in and it all went to poopers afterwards. Okay, so then after I spray paint it white and it dries, I'm just gonna kind of show you my alcohol ink collection I've started, which you can't really see the colors. So I got a variety of different colors here, and I'm going to pick at least 2 colors. I haven't really decided yet. I'm probably gonna have to go with like purple and pink, because if I do a bunch of blues, it'll be too much blue on the cup. So maybe some purples and pinks, alcohol inks to get a different effect on the top. And then once that dries and I spray that with a sealer, I'll take these off and we'll see how hopefully amazing it looks. Okay, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how things go. I might be able to get the alcohol ink done tomorrow. I probably won't be able to do that tonight because the spray paint will have to dry, and I don't want to stay up till midnight. So, well, I do have to anyways because I got a lot of other stuff to do, but this was kind of a fun side thing I wanted to do. So tomorrow night I'll try to get the alcohol inks on so that you guys can see that before I epoxy it. Okay, so again, let us know questions if you're interested in being made aware of our big sale that is happening on the very first day that we launch our tumblers. Be sure to sign up at the email link above. And until next time, we will see you later.